Hi everyone, today I'll be giving a book review on Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book is amazing and I have a lot to say about it, so let's get started. First of all, there are 320 pages in the book and there have been more than 15 million copies that have sold. That kind of gives you an idea about how popular this book is. It has also been translated into more than 50 languages. In this book, James Clear talks about how to build good habits and destroy bad ones. This is said on the front cover of his book, but how does he do this effectively? He splits the book into 4 different sections with 4 different laws on how you can do this. I've listed them on the slide. The reason why this strategy was so effective was because he did it in a way that made it easy to understand. Personally, I felt that his numerous scenarios and examples of people that used his techniques were very helpful since I knew it was an achievable goal. For each of the laws, he brings about at least 5 instances in which they have benefited certain people. For example, in the law Make It Attractive, he talks about this man who used to bite his nails all the time. Then, one day he decided to rejuvenate them to make them more good looking. After he does this, he doesn't feel like biting them again because he doesn't want to ruin it. Another thing I loved about this book is that it proves misconceptions about habits wrong. For example, a lot of people believe that habits can't change overnight. But James Clear proves that although your habits may not be able to change substantially overnight, a small change or thought of the person you want to become, for example, a more productive version of yourself, could go a long way. For instance, let's say you want to get more exercise in. If you were to stick to the mindset that this could not happen because it's not like you can change yourself overnight, then you would probably just dismiss the thought. However, if you implement a small, or in other words, an atomic habit, such as 5 jumping jacks when you wake up and another 5 before you sleep, although small, it would cast a vote for that version of yourself. As you keep doing those 5 jumping jacks, over time that number will increase, leading you closer to your goal. Another thing I appreciated about this book is that it really goes in depth on the idea that a habit doesn't have to be a chore. You don't need to build habits that challenge your mindset. Instead, you need to change the habit so that they match the flow of your mind. Make it more enjoyable, easy, and engaging so that you want to do it, not so that you need to. And if you really need to build a habit that you aren't used to, try to make it fit with your lifestyle. For example, if you want to wake up early every day and you aren't naturally an early bird, try to make the experience of getting up easier and more pleasant. To do this, you could set a more calm or subtle alarm sound, or instead of blinding your eyes with the ceiling light, turn on the bedside lamp. Learning how to make your habit more in the flow is an important part of actually making it a habit. In this book, I also learned that genetics don't determine your capability. Although your genes may limit your ability to do one thing, there are certainly so many more areas where you would thrive. In the book, Clear describes a scenario where 2 athletes with different heights and structures competed in different sports. Athlete 1 was 5'9" and competed in running, where he went on to create a record for that sport. Athlete 2 was 6'4" and pursued an interest in swimming, where he won multiple Olympic awards. The cool thing is that the 5'9" runner could not compete in swimming, and the 6'4" swimmer could not compete in running and get the level of recognition the other athlete got. That would simply not work out because the structure of the athletes are perfect for their sport and not quite fit for the other. Genes do not determine your destiny, they determine your areas of opportunity, says Clear. So instead of thinking of your genes as an obstacle for one thing, try to find the areas in which you can use them to your advantage. I have shared some of my key takeaways of this book. I could go on and on about all the different ideas and tips that I've learned, but I'll leave that to you to read and enjoy. It took me quite a while to read this book, and not because it was boring or long, it was because there were countless tips and ideas to think about that I couldn't just read half the book in one sitting. I also took time to annotate the book so I could easily keep track of sentences that I found important. I would encourage you all to do the same in the sense that you really try to understand what James Clear is trying to convey and connect these ideas with your life. In addition to this book review, I have attached some of my favorite quotes from the book to this slide. I hope you all enjoyed the book review and that you will start reading Atomic Habits soon. Thank you.